All right, everyone. 1 o'clock. This is Julie Escobar, and I'm here today with the wonderful Coach Judy Lador. Um, we're very excited. Judy's back in the country, which is kind of cool. She travels the globe on a regular basis, so we're happy to have her here with us today. And we're happy that all of you are here with us today, so thank you, everyone, for being here. I did want to let you know that we are recording this webinar, so it'll be available on demand in your membership platform. And today we're going to do something a little different than we normally do. We're going to take you through a tour of the best practices for using your Profitable Recruiter platform. We've had a lot of questions recently, and we want to make sure everybody's using every single tool at their disposal so that you are set up to have a really terrific year and recruit the team of your dreams. So we're very excited to be here and explain those things to you. We are also thrilled because Judy, being the master of dialogues in recruiting, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of today's webinar, which we're excited about. So for this purposes, if everybody would jot down their toughest recruiting objection or their most burning recruiting questions, we'll try to get to as many as possible. And we're going to have you use the Q&A panel there. It's usually on your right-hand side of your screen. There's a little Q&A section. You can type in your questions to us and let us know what those questions and objections are, and we'll get as many as we can towards the end of our session. Got a little bit of a reverb. All right, and with that, Judy, I'm going to let you take it away, and we're going to kind of walk people through the best practices for using their Profitable Recruiter platform.
Thank you so much, Julie. And I'd just really like to first start off by thanking everyone who is a member of the Profitable Recruiter marketing platform. And, excuse me, to explain why we felt that we really just needed to stop and spend some time taking you through this platform. I've had a lot of brokers recently contact me telling me how great the emails are, how their agents love them, how they can see that they are recruiting agents as a direct result of it. But when it comes to all the other tools, many of the brokers that we're talking to have said, what platform? Gosh, what tools? What else do I have? and so I kind of chuckled, and I thought, we're a lot like our agents sometimes. As a broker, you supply your agents with a lot of tools. They latch on to a couple of them that they use, but in many cases, your agents really aren't aware of a lot of the different tools that you have at their disposal as well. And so it's always a great idea for you as a broker to have some sessions internally in your office about some of your tools and how to best use them. And of course, we're going to do that today with you. The first part, there are a lot of moving components to this marketing platform, and each one of them is actually designed to do something different. It was very well thought out, actually, when we first set it up. We wanted it to be more than just emails. But that being the case, the very first thing listed here is how do you stay positioned in the right way all the time? In recruiting, this is one of the biggest challenges that brokers have. If an agent is happy and they're not looking at making a move yet, there's only so many things you can talk to them about, and you can only talk to them every couple of months. But a lot can happen in those 2 months between your conversations with the agents. And what we wanted to create is a tool that, in a very positive, inspiring, and uplifting way, allows you as the broker to have your name in front of them at all times. Now, just as a reminder, using Facebook on a constant basis also keeps your name there. But a lot of our brokers are still struggling with being on Facebook every day, and so this is another great way to do that. So our emails, written every single week, and we send them out for you in advance, are all designed to be fun, inspirational, something that the agent can read and enjoy even if they're not looking to make a change. So, for example, one that you're going to see coming up is our Groundhog Day one. And, pardon?
He's so cute.
He is so cute. You did such a great job of grabbing that photograph, Julie. And you know, basically, we just talked about the fact that in the movie Groundhog Day, which is a great movie, one that everybody should see, and we laugh, but there is a message in the movie, and the message is that, you know, sometimes we're in this rut, and every single day we're encountering the same things, and we're encountering the same situations, or even in recruiting. You're encountering the same objections, and you're going through that interview, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's another interview, or it's another day of calling. And what we really sometimes forget to stop and look at is when you do something on an ongoing basis and it's very repetitious, it's actually an opportunity to learn from that experience and make it better the next time around. And so that's the message that we're really giving the agents is, you know, the movie gets us thinking about, you know, if you could live one day over and over, you know, what great skills could you master? You know, how could you improve? You know, what lessons would you suddenly say, wow, you know what, I've been seeing this for weeks and I never really thought about it, but let me change the outcome for tomorrow. So that's really what we talk about. Now, in addition, you know, to the email that we give your agents, give you each week, of course, to send on to your agents and your recruits, we give them some words of wisdom, some quotes, which always tie into the message, and we give them their weekly challenge. You know, what is that thing that they can do with their clients? But in addition to that, you know, we've got some things that we're going to talk to you about as a broker. But with regard to your messages, here's two things. One is if you customize it, meaning you stick your logo on it, you have a little template that's created for you, and it looks very personally like your email coming from you at your company to them, it actually is a lot more effective. Also, if when you get all the emails, because you always get them before the first Monday of that next month, use eye contact, use constant contact, use something like that where you load those messages into a platform that will automatically be sending them out each Monday morning so you don't have to worry about it. Now, we still do send them to you every Monday. That's for two reasons. One, some people like to just do it that day. They change it up a little bit. They customize it, which is great. The other thing is it's your reminder to go ahead and start making your follow-up calls to the agents. So what we've done here really is we've just made it really easy for you to have some fun calls with your recruits each week because they just got this message and it gives you a great opening line when you're talking to that agent. So the goal here, the first goal, was to keep you positioned with only your agents but your recruits every single week in a fun, positive way. And don't forget, many of your agents have already figured this out, but your agents can then take this information. They're going to pull out the weekly challenge maybe, or they might pull out a couple of things that seem more specific to real estate. But this also now becomes a tool that they can pass on to buyers and sellers if they're not staying positioned. But we also have another offer that we're going to give you today, but we'll keep that for later.
Judy, real quick, if I can interject, what a lot of brokers I've found has made it a lot easier for them, and we do recommend, as Judy just said, that you pull all the content the week before the first week of the following month, and go ahead and load them into whatever your email platform is. Set them to go first thing on that Monday morning. But I wanted to remind everybody that we do have an opportunity here too to, Judy, you might need to turn your volume down.
Oh, is it loud?
No, I think I'm reverberating and on yours. Sorry about that, guys. But you do have an opportunity to have, if you have an admin assistant, we're happy to give them a login as well, so that can become part of your admin's responsibilities as well, to go ahead and load these up. And the nice thing about using something like iContact or Constant Contact or MailChimp is then you can see who opened it, you can see who clicked through it, you can see who's responding. So I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you, Julie. Very important part of that. So now if we take a look at the second thing that we have in your email, as we said, is we have kind of a challenge or action step that you, the broker or recruiter, can do on that weekly basis. One of our members said it's like having your recruiting on autopilot, whether it's for you or someone in your office that's doing your recruiting for you. You don't have to sit there each week and think, okay, how do I follow up? How do I call my recruits? What can I do? We're giving you what's called the Recruiting Challenge, Retention Challenge. We are challenging you to take it one step further with your recruits. So if we look at week number 1, it says it's recruiting season, and some agents are stuck in a rut, doing the same things with the same results. Suggest that they break out, learn some new skills. Also suggest getting together to analyze their career, give them some suggestions such as maybe it's just time to switch firms. So that would be what we are challenging you to do with your recruits. But with your own agents, you can, again, just a little different spin, analyze their business and find a new and improved way for them to serve their clients in 2016. And so every single week, don't forget that the reason we're putting those challenges in there for you as a broker is it's a very no-brainer way to just say, okay, so what's being suggested this week? And I also just do want to say here that I do know that because we give you an action step to do every single week with your agents and your recruits, sometimes you're so busy that you don't have time to maybe do that action step that week, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's just next week we're going to give you something else to do. Or if something worked really well for you the first week, you can continue on the second week doing the same thing that you were doing the first week because maybe you're getting some great results. We just want to make sure at all times we're giving you an idea on how to follow up with your agents and your recruits.
And have some fun while you're at it.
And to have some fun while you're at it, right. So then on the number 3 thing, I was just speaking, Julie, at an event a couple weeks ago. I think I sent you an email on this. It was really funny because one of our members, who may even be on today's call, so I won't say her name, but she ran up to me and she whispered, she's like, first off, she goes, I'm so depressed that you're here speaking to this large group because I don't want anyone to know what we're doing. But since I was there 6 months ago working with their company and putting some things in place, one of the things that they implemented was the lumpy letters, and they have made a huge difference. This particular company has actually doubled their size since last summer with a focus on recruiting, but also using all the tools here. Now, I would say most of our brokers love lumpy letters. If you haven't used them yet, they're great. A lumpy letter is nothing more than a very short message designed to get your message heard in a big way. And you send it with something lumpy. And so, for example, here's a little one of these little hats. Julie does such a great job of finding things. As you can see down there, the Oriental Trading Company is a great place to go. You can take any theme, Google it in, but we give you an idea each month on buy something that doesn't really cost a lot. Send something special to either your top 10, top 25, probably no more than your top 50 agents. You only have to do it once a month, so that's why we give you lumpy letters ideas for the month, to just give them something to open up that gets that message across, whether it's a time to celebrate, whether you are telling them great job, and actually something that a lot of our brokers like to do in February. I'll go ahead and give you this little tip right now. But one of the lines that's been used a lot in recruiting with a lot of fun is the line that says, your heart's in the right place, but your real estate license isn't. And you can send it out with a little box of chocolates. You can even send it out after Valentine's Day. So you can wait till the Valentine's Day candy is 50 to 90% off. Buy a bunch of boxes for about $1 each. Ship them out with a little message, heart's the right place, but your real estate license isn't, and suggest a time to get together. So anytime that we're talking about a lumpy mail, it's just what it sounds like. It's a short message, it's a note, goes out with something that they could use, maybe their children can use, or as you see the one at the bottom, just meditation time, taking time for them. and having a little meditation CD or a download that they can listen to. Julie, anything that you would like to add here? You really are that person every month that is searching hard for those cute little ways to reach them via lump email.
Well, I did want to let them go into the archives here and look at the last 3 months. So if what we have up there for this month doesn't suit your fancy or doesn't seem like something you would send or fit your personality or your team, you can always go back to the last 3 months and see other ones that have been used and that we've seen a lot of success with for a lot of agents and a lot of brokers. This one actually, which is the December one, I knew we had a lot of brokers tell us that the Firestarter one was a favorite. I mean, they got a lot of mileage out of this. We had a lot of people chatting about it. And the neat thing about Lumpy Letters is it affects more than just the agent that you send it to. I had one broker that said that she sent this Firestarter one, and the agent she was trying to recruit, his wife actually pushed him to call her. She's like, you need to get in touch with this broker. They're creative, they're fun, and, so it was great.
Yeah.
But it also creates a buzz with the agents in the office, or, at the board or the open house, where the agents go, oh, did you see what Judy sent? Did you get one of those? That kind of thing. So it creates a buzz, and that's a wonderful thing for you as a broker.
So just another conversation starter, which again keeps them thinking about you at all times. Great. Perfect. Next thing we have is we do have a lot of recruiting letters that we load onto the platform for you. We call these seasonal recruiting letters because we try to tie them into the season. So in February, one of our letters here, as you can see, is about passion, because sometimes passion is a word that is used a lot during Valentine's Day. Now, whenever we do create these letters for you, it's just extra material that you can use in your recruiting. But what you absolutely want to do is make it as customized and personal to your office as possible. What that means is, right here where, with the right motivation, training, inspiration, leadership, and belief, when your passion meets your purpose, anything's possible. You might even throw in an example there. You might put a quote of one of your agents in there. Or under the motivation, training, inspiration, leadership, belief, maybe you add to it motivation, one thing that you do to motivate your agents, maybe one thing that you do in the way of training that's unique, something that your agents find inspirational, one thing that you as the leader do, and what's the overall core belief within your company. So you can actually take what we've created for you, which is that letter that can be used on its own, but when you then make it your specific letter with your things blended into it, it's always going to make more of an impact and do more to educate them about what sets you apart in the marketplace from other companies.
And it's as simple as copying the content from here and dropping it onto your letterhead and making it your own, and then sending it out. And what we've found has been most effective for brokers is when they do this at the same time every month. So maybe the week before, the turn of the month, you pick out which letter you want to use, you pick out which lumpy letters you want to use, you kind of get that all in place so that you send that out either that week before or the first week of the month, and then you've got the rest of the month to follow up based on what you sent out. So having a specific time every month to do these, or you break it up. Maybe you do the lumpy letters one week and you do your seasonal letters to your big list the next week. Your emails are going out every week, but maybe what works best is if you go ahead and block some time a couple of times a month to make sure these other activities get done as well.
Great, thank you for that.
Oh.
Well, it's normally there, right?
All right, I don't know why it didn't do that. Let me pull it up here.
So the other thing we do, is we always provide you with social media tips. And again, every month we're just delivering different ideas and content for you to use with social media. I do understand that sometimes, we saw some brokers that are a little uncomfortable with Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, whereas others are using it, daily. As you know, it is a really great way to keep your name in front of your recruits at all times. Most agents check their Facebook page 6 times a day on the average, with many more checking it many more times than that. So as you can see here, Julie's pulled up our social media tips for February. She's got 8 social media tips for February. And Julie, why don't you go ahead and kind of review those tips very quickly, because I have not had a chance to look at them yet.
No problem. And they change out, and again, you can go through your archives and find different ones. One of the things we recommend too is that you have 5 quotes in your weekly e-newsletters. You can share those. You can share the challenge from there's all those components in your weekly e-newsletter. You certainly can share those as well. LinkedIn endorsements are huge. A lot of times a broker will go in and endorse an agent for their expertise and their knowledge base and their professionalism, and that's more than what their current broker has done. So that's a nice way to acknowledge somebody in a passive way and get some kudos as well. Take 15 minutes a day, just reach out to 5 potential recruits, just a personal message on Facebook or LinkedIn. For those of you who haven't watched it, I highly recommend, we're going to talk about the webinars on demand in a moment, but I highly recommend you go in to the webinars on demand and watch. Let's see if we can find her here. As you can see, we have over 30. We have over 30 on-demand webinars in here that you can watch. I'm just looking for the one with Roberta Ross. I might have already put this one. The Agent Blueprint, but the How to Recruit with Facebook in Minutes a Day. This is a great webinar on demand. She did a great job with us. And the one right above it was Stacy Sadum. Stacy is an expert at social media. So those are 2 really great webinars for you to watch, especially as we're heading into the rest of the year, because they really show you how to get the most out of your social media and how to do it in less time, so you're not spending tons and tons of time. Our last webinar as well with Sima Dahl was all about. Sima is an expert, a LinkedIn expert, a Facebook expert, so that's a great webinar for you to watch as well if you're interested in really recruiting with social media in a powerful way. We also have graphics that you can use, and we have instructions for how to download those graphics. Every week you should be acknowledging at least one agent, in your office. Share your stats. Use the quotes, use testimonials that you get. Pinterest is a treasure trove for great graphics and great information. Share what makes you different. When Judy does her workshops, she talks a lot about one of the first things brokers really need to do is figure out what differentiates you. What makes you different, what makes you special in your marketplace, and create some graphics around those. I think that's always a great idea as well.
Great. Thanks, Julie.
You're welcome.
And let's see what we got next, our webinar invites. And if you are not able to log in on our webinars that we hold each month, we always send you the link after the webinar so that you are able to watch those webinars on demand. So Julie's just gone through a few of those with you, but let me just kind of review the 2 webinar links that you get every month. The 2 webinars that you have access to every month. First off, one is always a recruiter or a broker who's doing a great job in the marketplace, or maybe someone who ties into that recruiting world with a product or a service that can really just make your job better. And so the interviews, and it's so great that we have so many people who are willing to just, to everybody in the industry, say, hey, listen, here's what I'm doing, here's what works for me, here's what I say on the phone, here's what's important in the interview. So you've got these recruiters and brokers basically each sharing what they do. And it's not as though you're going to suddenly redo everything that you do every week and say, oh, let me finish it. It's just you listen to these webinars and you think, what are they doing that maybe I'm not doing, but really resonates with me as something that I might really enjoy or something that could work in my marketplace, and just grab an idea from there. In addition to that, you're getting a second webinar, which is a profitable sales agent. I think most of you know we have another product for agents called the Profitable Sales Agent, and each month they also have a webinar. But that webinar is a team leader or an agent who, again, once again, regardless of which company they're affiliated with, have agreed to come on, share how they run their team, share how they built their team, share why they're listing 100 properties a year. You know, all of these things, each agent is known for something. And so every month we have that webinar as well. And the reason that we give this webinar to you is so that you can share it with your agents and your recruits. Just another value-added tool that you can give to them. A lot of our brokers actually will take the agent webinar, they will play it in a kind of a workshop environment where they do kind of a lunch and learn and say, okay, let's watch the webinar. They're normally only 30 minutes. Let's see what this agent has to share, and let's talk about how we can apply that information in our own businesses, our own careers. I remember one of our webinars with Kari Kohler. I mean, they're all fantastic. But I remember when Kari was on, you know, one of the things that really stood out was that even though she's a very successful agent, very successful team leader, she really talked about the fact that every single day she's in the trenches with her team. They are all making phone calls to generate new business. She gave us the actual scripts that they were using. She said, here's how much time we spend. Here's how much, you know, this is how our day breaks out. I mean, really think about that. You know, here's a person who's, again, one of the most successful agents in the marketplace, takes time out of her day to say, hey, listen, I'm happy to share with you, you know, what I do to be successful in order to help you be better, you know, what you're doing. And so right there, you see it on the board back, it was in April of 2015. And so that's why we give that to you so you can share it with your own agents and gives just you more value added. The next thing is we've got a blog. Let's see, it's blog number 17, number 7, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out the blog, it's right there on your platform. It says blog. And in the blog, there are articles which I write, a lot of things that Julie's also creating and putting on that blog that are all designed to just take the entire recruiting process and address it in an article. Why aren't agents returning my phone calls? One that we just did. And that was something everyone kept saying, geez, you know, what's going on? So in January I said, okay, everybody keeps saying, why are people returning my phone calls? Maybe we need to just really talk about that and what's really happening when when you see that happening. We also, let's see, what was the next one there that we've got? A powerful script to inject energy into your recruiting. Scripts are a big thing with our brokers, so we do try to do a lot with scripts. We even have more additional script material that we're going to show you here in a minute. And but that's our blog.
And there's new content on the blog all of the time. We're always putting up new content.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and talk about it? Maybe this is a good time, Julie, just to talk about that with the scripts.
I think it's a really good resource for brokers. You know, especially if you find, I mean, not that I'm sure everybody is super busy, so there's not tons of time left over. But certainly if there's an opportunity to read in a bite-sized portion of content, this is a really good source for that. And we tend to break things down in bullet points and make it really easy for you to learn and really easy for you to implement.
Right.
So you can always find that on the blog. And your member login is right here too. So I do have brokers that call and say, I don't know how to get in. If you just go to theprofitablerecruiter.com, there's a little member login here for you so you can log in right there.
Yeah, it was funny last week when one of the brokers I was talking to had never, ever once logged in. I was online with her and we were going through it all. She's like, I cannot believe that I've never logged in to use all this other stuff. So, of course, it's great that, you know, you're seeing so many results and you love the emails enough to where that's just enough for you. But, again, we didn't want this to just be about emails. We really wanted it to be a resource for you that gives you every possible thing that you need to recruit the agents that you want.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We have a lot of brokers that come in here and download these files, print them out, put them in a little binder, and that way, even when they bring on, if you bring on a recruiter, or if you have a management team, this is a great thing for you guys as a management team to even workshop some of these scripts.
Perfect. Thank you.
And we have the audio download.
Yeah, can you take them through that one, Julie?
Sure. If you go onto our site, now they are actually housed on Judy's personal site, but we give you a password right here. So you just go on and
so you go audio download.
Where is it? I thought I opened it up. There.
There we go.
You'll see here there's 7.5 hours of content. And she literally soup to nuts for recruiting. She's got everything here. And it's broken down in a really manageable way. Like I have brokers call me on a regular basis and ask, oh, Judy covered something on personality type, that type of thing. And I said, okay, great. You can find that in Audio Program 3. A lot of people have questions about interview. What do I do here? How do I set it up? How do I close? So we have everything kind of broken down, but like I said, it's just a treasure trove of content. And even if you just took, 20 minutes every morning or in the evening or even at lunch just to listen to some of these, download and listen to them on your drive even, that would be a great learning experience. And of course, the more you listen to it, the more once you're faced with that situation, Judy's words just kind of come spilling out of your mouth easy, right?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so that's our next tool here. There's tons of stuff.
Yeah, I just covered most of it.
Next tool, well, we've got, let's see, help your agents do the same. And
so we can talk about that.
Yeah, so right now, do we want to, Julie, talk to them about the offer that we're going to make for 2016?
We can, and then we can break into questions. So if everybody has written down their burning question for Judy or the objection they most want her to help them handle, if you guys would go ahead and load those into the Q&A panel now, Judy will go ahead and talk about the profitable sales agent, and then we'll get to your questions.
Right. As you can see there, we had a special going through April 15th where you could get 25% off your membership and share that content with agents. Basically, it's for you to become a member of the Profitable Sales Agent. And this is something, by the way, that we will only offer brokers who are members of the Profitable Recruiter. But if you're already a member of the Profitable Recruiter, you can go ahead and take advantage of the membership for the Profitable Sales Agent. Our Profitable Sales Agent newsletter is specific to agents. It has a do-it-yourself tip of the week, and there's the platform has listings and sales tools, and we will allow you, the broker, for a reduced cost to go ahead and get one membership for the Profitable Sales Agent and share it with all your agents. And obviously, we just do that for you because you're already one of our members on a different platform, and we want to let you share this with all your agents. But something that we are going to do for all of our clients is that we're going to offer the Profitable Sales Agent at a substantially reduced price for brokers to be able to use it as a recruiting and retention tool for agents that they're trying to bring on board or agents that they want to do something special for in their office. The normal cost is, I think, $99 a month to have the entire platform of tools for your agents and the weekly emails that we give your agents to go out to their clients and customers, as well as their training and coaching webinar, staging secret scripts, things of that nature. We're going to reduce that cost down to $39, and we will be sending each of you a link with that special code. So we are not actually going to give that code to you today because this link is going to be sent to a lot of brokers who are not yet members of the Profitable Recruiter, but we do want to give you an opportunity. If you're talking to an agent, they are not doing anything to stay positioned with their clients and customers, maybe the marketing area of the real estate career is a little weak, or they're looking for some tools to strengthen their own business, you could actually give this membership to an agent for only $39. It breaks down to $10 a week to keep them positioned with their clients, or again, offer it to your agents in office if you'd rather do that. I've had some brokers say I'd rather just give them a chance to purchase it. If they see value in it, they'll pay the $39 and don't get their own subscription. Or we have other brokers, like I said earlier, that have said, can I get the subscription, buy one, and then share it with my agents each week? So you've got two options there, but after today's webinar, we are going to send you a special code, and you'll be able to use that code as often as you want 2016 to either purchase memberships for your sales agents on our agent platform, or again, give them out maybe as a little thank you gift for joining your company.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, we have our first question, Judy.
Okay.
Is sending an email every week too much? Do we get pushback that it's becoming junk mail? I think we both have a perspective on that.
Yeah, that's actually a question that I get almost every time I'm conducting a seminar somewhere. People say, geez, is it too much? It's not, and in fact, I guess I would put it this way. None of our brokers who are sending the emails out weekly are getting any pushback. So from what we see happening in the marketplace, no one's getting any pushback, but I think the reason that you don't get pushback is because the agents love getting it. And again, for many of those agents, they actually copy and paste it and send it on to their clients. If you also use permission-based email, you're less likely to push back, meaning that, if you call up an agent and say, listen, this is something that we do for our agents. We also encourage our agents to be able to copy and paste this information and send it on to their clients as a way of staying in position with their clients. We'd like to also include this for you. It's only going to happen once a week. It's just our way of starting off your Monday morning with not only an inspirational thought of the week, but it's going to, give you kind of an activity that will keep you engaged in your own personal real estate business and help generate more business for you. I go back to when Stuart Thomas, has been doing this for quite some time, and as I recall, and the numbers might be a little off, but it's not off by too much, but one of his agents came up and said to him, she had something like $1.6 million in escrow as a result of taking those messages each week and sending it on to their clients and keeping position. Now, she's in California, so they have a higher sales price, but nonetheless, it's still that income her broker is personally responsible for because he's provided her content that was general enough and inspirational enough to be sent on. And so, no, the other thing to keep in mind is some of you who might be thinking that would also be thinking that if you weren't getting something every week, you might think it's too much. And I would caution you about making a decision based on how you feel, because even though you might feel that it's too much, you represent about 25% of the people out there, statistically speaking, because 75% would have a different opinion, maybe a different outcome. But, at the same time, you should be talking to these agents. And if you ask them if they enjoy the emails, are they using them, are they reading them, you're going to know. And if someone says to you, gosh, it's a lot, just say, well, do me a favor. I mean, you don't have to read them all. Some Mondays you might, feel like you need the inspiration more than other Mondays. Don't block them. Let them keep coming in. But what I will do for you is I'll just make a note that if there's a message that I think is really a great message that might really have a huge impact on your business, I'll actually pick up the phone, call you, or send you a little text to say you might want to check out this Monday's message, knowing that they already said to you, I'm not reading all of them, but I pick and choose. That's just helpful information for you to know when you follow up with those agents.
I did want to include a strategy that quite a few of our brokers use, and that is they use the Monday morning message as their blog post each week. And so they make it an opt-in for agents via social media and that kind of thing. If you want to read more of this, opt in to get our Monday morning cup of motivation. So they're actually getting agents requesting it from them because they're using it as an opt-in on their site and fuel for their blog. So
nice.
Another little tip. We have another question. I have a top agent in the field that has outgrown her current broker and is looking to get to the next level. Her fear with coming to my office is that I have so many top agents she will be competing against in the marketplace. This is something that she has not had to be concerned with at her present brokerage. How should she handle it?
Yeah, there's so many different great analogies for that. One of the things that, and I do like to use analogies with agents because I think analogies really resonate well with agents. So you pick out the one that you like best. But, so I'll just give you two here. One is there's an experiment, and you'd have to look it up. I'm sure you can Google it. But it's about putting, well, there's one with an elephant, and there's one with putting grasshoppers in a jar, or different things that hop in a jar. You probably know better than me, Julie. But there's an analogy that, well, I'm going to just give you the one I know the best, okay? So I'm sorry here.
Okay.
Let's do this one. When I'm talking to an agent who comes in, and maybe they're the number one agent where they're at, I'm going to ask these questions. And you can write these questions down. I'm going to ask the agent, out of every 4 listing appointments that you go on each month, how many of them are you going to sign up? And most really good agents who are the top agent in the marketplace will either say 3 or 4. And I'm going to say for every 4 buyers that you meet with, how many of those buyers are you going to sell a house to? And once again, the best agents will say 3 or 4. And then I say, now, have you ever seen an agent make a move to a company? You know, they were a good agent when they made the move, but suddenly they make the move and their business just skyrockets. It just escalates. And many times it doubles or even triples at that new company. And most of the agents that I've said that to all say, sure, I've seen that happen. And I'll say, so what do you think happens there? Do they just walk through the doorway of that new company and suddenly it's like, poof, something magical dust falls on their head and they get to the other side of the doorway and they're, wow, I'm just feeling more confident in this new company. I'm feeling like a better agent. I suddenly think I'm more skillful. Like, do you think something magical happens when they walk through the doorway? Of course not. That agent is the same agent with the same skill level when they walk through the doorway of the new company as they had at the old company. But here's what changes. If they make a move to a company that has far more opportunities for them to do business, a good agent will make far more money. So for example, we'll say to the agent, let's just say we were able to put you face-to-face with 8 sellers a month versus 4. How many of the 8 would you sell? And they're going to say 6 or 7. And if I could put you in front of 8 buyers a month, and we had some tools to make that happen, how many of those would you sell? So what happens is you are the number one agent in your company right now because you are converting every opportunity that they can put you face-to-face with. You're as good as you're going to get where you're at. And I know that because you're the number one agent in that office. And if you've never thought about it, right now it feels good to be number one there. But where are you going to go from there? But if you go to a company that has twice the opportunities and suddenly you're doing twice the business, okay? And think about it. If you doubled your income here, then you're going to be at this level. And suddenly you are right there with our top producers. But more importantly, if I put you in an environment with 5 or 6 other really great agents who are also willing to share what they're doing, and they're just a little bit ahead of you, and all you have to do is give it a little extra oomph and convert those opportunities, how likely are you to be able to be our number one agent, and how much cooler would that be? So you get the agent understanding that, but then I'll come back and I'll show them the opposite. So I would say, if I was talking to you, I'd say, but Julie, let me also point out this. Not every agent will make more money in our organization. For example, in your office, right now, there is an agent in your company, because they're everywhere, except here, of course. But there's agents everywhere that we could give them 10 leads a month, and they would not list or sell more properties. And when you say that to agents, they always laugh and say, really? You know it's true. Think about in your office. Can you think of an agent in your office who we could give 10 leads to every month, and they still wouldn't do any more business? And they'll say yes. And I say, so for that agent, I would not recommend that they find a company with more opportunities because it wouldn't do any good. For that agent, they should just find the best split possible and stay put because that's the only way they're going to make more money. But for an agent with your skill level, if you're positioned with a company that has more opportunities for you to do business, that's when your production really skyrockets. Now, that being said, that works really, really well all the time if, in fact, you're following our process in your interview and you're asking questions to identify what it is that they don't have that they could have with your firm. And then when you're presenting your systems, you're presenting them in such a way that they see the value, and then you're doing that recap and doing that ROI. And that's where, when you now can do those two things, and you can say, so if we just take a look at what we discussed today, you told me, based on the results that others have had, that you would definitely do at least 12 more transactions here. And if we take a look at, what that means, dollar-wise or average volume-wise, now we look at that increase, and that puts you at a different level with our organization. But you have to make the first step to make it happen. You have to leave where you're at to go where you could be. And there is a quote, I'll probably mess it up like I started to mess up the first thing I was going to show you, but the quote is something like this: the really difficult thing in life is to let go of what you have for what you could become. And you can Google it, it's real close to that. And basically what it means is that, there's some security in knowing what we have, and there's some security in knowing where we're at. But to be able to let go of that, to get the courage to let go for what you could be, for who you could be and what you could have, for those that are willing to take that step, there's a much greater opportunity, waiting for them. That's what I would use.
Awesome. So we have another question, and then we probably have time for one more. So if anybody else wants to plug in their questions, we'll choose one more. The question is, can you, they have an agent who they're trying to bring on board who has several listings, and their current broker will not let them take the listings.
We do get that on occasion. Now again, I want to make sure that you know that they won't, okay, because in today's marketplace, more and more, a broker will release the listings if the client wants released, and if you as a company will offer to pay them exactly what they would have earned had that agent still been with them. So you got to make sure that, if the agent just says, look, my company's not going to release listings, you want to ask a few more questions, such as, what is that policy? And has anyone ever left your company in the past and had that listing released? Unfortunately, if you're dealing with a company in the marketplace who has never once ever released a listing of any agent, and they never intend to do so, and that is their policy, then that agent may have to leave without those listings, even if the client wants to follow them. But if I'm talking to that agent, that is the scenario. If it were you, Julie, I just say, look, Julie, unfortunately, that is a policy that your company has. For whatever reason, when you decided to join that firm, you thought you would be, deliriously happy for your entire real estate career, and you never thought about leaving. So the fact that they had you sign a contract with a clause in it that handcuffs you to that organization, even when it's no longer in your best interest to be there, I think that's sad, and I think it's unfortunate that they have that policy, but it is their policy, and it's something that you agreed to when you joined them. So now you have a dilemma, Julie. You realize that you can make more money being here, but at the same time, you hate to walk away from those listings. So there's only a couple of choices, Julie. You either stay put in a company that is not necessarily serving you to the best of your needs, and even though you know you can make more money somewhere else, or you cut the tie, you walk away, and hopefully maybe some of those listings won't sell. You can pick them up on the rebound. Maybe your clients will make a big fuss and the broker will release them. I can always try afterwards to get them to change their mind, but at some point, Julie, you either have to stay with that company for the rest of your real estate career, if that's what's keeping you there. You have to either, at a point where maybe there's only 2 or 3 listings, just say, well, that's it, I'm going to just go ahead and cut my ties here because I can make up those 2 or 3 listings with a new company again if you build the value. Or you can coast out. And some agents do coast out. I don't think that's smart. Coasting out means that you intentionally don't take any listings for the next several months. You try to get them sold. You try to get them closed out. And you pretty much shut your business down for a few months so that you can kind of say, well, at least I'm not leaving anything behind. But for an agent that does 2 or 3 transactions a month, is shutting your business down for a few months to try not to lose anything really the smart way to go. For most agents, you're going to lose more that way than keeping it. So if you've got a company that is holding them hostage to that policy and they've never let a listing go, those are the agent's only 3 options, and there's no other option we can give them. But I found that the more direct you can be, which is, look, you know what, just need to pull your bootstrings up and like move forward. You know, with the decision here, I could. So there's a lot of analytic words you could use, but we use that one. You know, because that's the only option. It's not our policy. But here's the good news: we don't have that policy here. So when you join our team, if for whatever reason at any point in the future you decide that that you would be financially better off anywhere else, we will release those listings if the client wants to make that move with you. We will shake hands, we will part friends, and we will remain business colleagues and comrades in the marketplace, as it should be with any business person that makes a move. Unfortunately, your company does not have our attitude or our philosophy, which is why you are here talking to us today. So how do we make this work? So that's kind of that tough, like, look, it is what it is thing. But I will say this. If that company has ever released a listing in the past, and you know it for sure, and obviously if you recruit other agents, they released a listing for any reason, that would be how you absolutely know for sure. But maybe there's a listing that got released from them, and it got relisted when an agent left. So maybe in that case, it's you want to keep your eye on that competitor to see if they ever break that policy, because if it's a problem for you today with the recruiter, it's going to be a problem in 6 months or 12 months from now. So let's start doing your research. The default that you can go to, now obviously always first try to use your release agreement that we've taught you to do. You can call the broker a few days later and say, look, you know what, obviously they're unhappy, their clients are unhappy, they're talking to your agents, everybody's paying you to be the bad guy, you're going to get paid the money. Let's get those listings released and move on. So sometimes broker to broker, after a few days when they calm down, it works. But here's something else that you can do, and especially if the agent who they suddenly are not releasing their listings falls into a protected class. You can have your attorney send them a letter which simply states that we have some concerns about the agent who has just left your firm. And the agent would have to be willing to go ahead and make that move without the listings. And the letter would say, the letter from the attorney would say, we have some concerns here because we do have evidence in our possession that you have released listings in the past, but for whatever reason you're choosing to discriminate against this particular agent. We would like you to reconsider your position. Once again, we will pay you what you would have been paid. The client's going to be happy, the agent will be happy, everyone's going to be happy, before we look at other options. And that's a pretty
that word pretty much would get them on their knees.
That pretty much gets that listing released, whether they like it or not. And then once you have had them release one agent's listing, then it's not going to be a problem in the future. But you do have to know that they have done it. And there are a couple of companies in the marketplace that I still run into that are holdouts. They know they cannot release the first listing. If they do, they set the precedent, they open the door for all others to get released. So some of them are holding out.
Awesome. Well, great questions, great answers, great content today. Thank you, everybody, for being on the line today with us. If we will be, like I said, recording this, so it will be uploaded into your platform. You can watch it on demand. We had a great time today. Judy, thank you for all of your wonderful information. You're wonderful as usual. And thank you to everybody, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Let's make it a great year, everyone.
Absolutely. Bye-bye, everybody.